Hello and welcome everyone, Lionheart here, and today I'm taking a look at the Nvidia GTX 960. I'm going to be running it through various Total Wars, showing you the performance you can expect to get with this card. This is not a sponsored video. Nvidia very kindly sent me a kind of care package a couple of weeks ago, about a month or so ago now. And it included stuff like their Shield tablet, which I created a video for, looking at their grid feature system. So do go check that out. Link to that is in the description. But yes, they asked if perhaps I'd be interested in taking a look at how the 960 performed in Total Wars, both current and, you know, the last couple. So what I'm going to be doing is benchmarking the 960 in Total War Attila on my recording settings, which are pretty much some of the higher settings you can run the game at, or at least I'll be trying to. I'll also then do a quick online battle against a random opponent on Total War Attila Online. Then I'm going to jump into Rome 2 and run the benchmark in Rome 2, and then run the benchmark for Shogun 2. So hopefully that way you guys will get a fair idea of how the 960 runs Total War series of games. I'm also going to be doing a giveaway for the 960, although it won't be for a couple of weeks' time, but that will be held on my Facebook page, so make sure you have a look in the description and follow the link to my Facebook page there. The reason why I'm holding it in a couple of weeks' time is because I'm going to decide exactly how I'm going to run it through my Facebook page, but also so that if you guys want to see any further benchmarks with the 960, you can request that via the comments of this video, and I'll have enough time to do that before I give it away. So I don't think Nvidia are sending me another card to do a giveaway piece with, so it will be the exact card that I am using this very second that is plugged into my PC. So it does work, and I have only used it for about a week, pretty much. So let's jump over to my graphics settings. These are the settings that I record all my Let's Plays with, but obviously normally I'm recording with a 980. And of course I should say I'm normally recording with a capture card. Today I'm actually trying out the Nvidia Shadowplay recording feature that is available to some of the later series of Nvidia cards. I think from the 600 or 700 series upwards you can use Shadowplay, which is pretty cool. It has very minimal impact on your FPS in game, so it is a perfect software solution. The reason why I don't use it at the moment is mainly that it doesn't have multi-audio track recording. But apart from that, it is probably one of the best solutions you can get, especially for recording 60 FPS gameplay. And in fact, I use Shadowplay to record my Dragon Age Inquisition Let's Play at 60 FPS. Multi-track recording, I'll get into Shadowplay as of later on, but once Nvidia add that in, then this is pretty much what I will use for 60 FPS recording all the time. Also, this video is kind of a test for me to see how my PC copes with rendering a video at 60 FPS, a Total War video that is, because I'm recording with Shadowplay at 60 FPS. Okay, the benchmarks may show FPS going below 60 FPS, in fact it probably will do, but at least you'll have that option there at 1080p and 720 to run the video at 60 FPS, so do let me know what you think of the quality as well. Right, all that stuff said, let's get into this video. So as you can see, this is the Nvidia GeForce GTX 960. They've actually sent me the MSI Gaming 2G version, which has their twin Frozor cooling solution, which means that at the moment this game is taxing my GPU to 98% usage at the moment, and apparently that is running my card at 62 degrees. When it's not in use, when it's idling, it's around about 40 degrees. So it actually really does have a great cooling solution. I actually had the GTX 770 before the 980. That was an MSI twin Frozor card, and that ran really nice and cool as well. So I really like the twin Frozor design. Completely separate, but yes, I digress. Anyway, so my settings, as you can see, I've got anti-aliasing on MLAA, because 4 times taxes your system way too much. Shadows, I have that on performance because max quality again takes a big old chunk. And unlimited video memory, you only want to select that if you want increased quality, but that will hit your performance, and I don't want increased quality. I'm quite happy with the quality that I have at the moment. So we're going to run the benchmark. I've got Fraps running in the top right hand corner, which I hope is showing up, and that will give you guys an FPS count, although the benchmark does have its own, I believe. But for when we do this quick battle later on, that will be useful for having it up there. If it isn't there for whatever reason, then my apologies. I tried my best. So, jumping into this battle. Here we go. Let's see how it runs on the 960. Nice fire of Londinium, Siege of Londinium. Now these benchmarks for Total War, they're not actually the best for calculating FPS in the game overall, because it only shows you kind of scripted zooming pans and obviously the clash of units, which is useful for kind of getting an idea of how the game will handle in big zoomed in fights, but not for the kind of overall experience where you'll be zoomed out a lots of the time. Like now, zoomed out, you'll actually get probably a bit higher FPS than this, but at least the benchmarks themselves are kind of consistent if you want to do testing across various settings and cards. So again, that's why I'm going to be jumping into a multiplayer battle as well very shortly. So getting to our lowest point there, about 27 FPS. I should say I did benchmark the game before I recorded, and I got exactly 2 FPS more. So I got 34 FPS when I wasn't recording with Shadowplay, so it does take a tiny bite out of your FPS, but all software will. With it running though, I get 32, which is actually fine. On those settings, again, I'm running pretty much some of the higher settings you can run Attila on currently. And that took it pretty well. I'm not going to change anything, I'm not going to rerun it. If you do want obviously different combinations, then let me know in the comment section. But we are going to jump straight on over to a custom battle. Okay, so we're now on a multiplayer battle. I just hit the quick match, and I'm up against IG Antiochs UA. He's playing as the Danes, I'm going to play as the Jutes. This battle will most likely end in me dying horrifically. I won't do that actually. Will most likely end with me dying horrifically. I'm literally just trying to focus on showing you guys kind of the FPS you can expect with a 960. I should say though, as far as I know, Nvidia haven't released kind of dedicated drivers for Total War Attila yet. So this is kind of performance in progress. I will look to revisit Attila once Nvidia has released drivers, but I should say it's not just Nvidia that haven't done this. I don't think I've seen drivers from AMD yet either, and obviously further optimizations from CA wouldn't go amiss either. So hopefully this should kind of be a marking point that you shouldn't see the FPS go any lower than what you're about to see at these sorts of settings. Hopefully it can only go higher. We can kind of see the optimizations that can be made to the game by comparing things to Rome 2 and Shogun 2. Now obviously quality increased in number of textures and things like that, and more demanding graphics and settings from Shogun 2 to Rome 2, and from Rome 2 to Attila. Attila uses higher resolution textures, but you know, it'll still give you that kind of idea, and that where optimization drivers can hopefully take us. Although I don't think there's been drivers for the 960 or the 900 series for the other previous Total Wars yet, but it should still benefit from just existing drivers that do add some support anyway. Right, this was just a saved build that I had. Anyway, I'm going to try not to be in the swamp. I kind of want to get to this bit here and control that there. Got some Viking Raider cavalry, but unfortunately there's nowhere to really easily put them. I'm going to put them all together over here though. Just go for cav superiority on that side. Now I have got these guys, these lovely wolf coats, which can go here, and I'm going to see if I can flank him up here. But when I did try doing that last time in a battle, it actually didn't go too well for me, because they got caught. Well, they were too far away from the conflict, but I'm hoping it'll go differently this time. So I've got Elite Nordic Spearmen. I thought they were called Epic for a minute, then I was like, that's a shame. And then we've got Royal Huskarls and a Viking Captain as my general. I'm going to hit start. Yeah, oh, perfect timing. Spears in front, Huskarls behind, General over here, Cavalry run here. I'm just running them all quickly, Again, this is not about showing you guys really cool battle where I pull off an amazing victory. It's more Lionheart's not going to cock it up. He's not going to cock it. No, it's more he's showing off the 960. So right now you can obviously see the FPS top right hand corner of your screen with fraps. If it's showing, I really do hope it is. It's showing about 42 FPS from this view right now. If I zoom right on in, it does get low, about 25. But it's still kind of perfectly playable stuff. But obviously zooming out, then you get 47, 50 FPS nearly. Right, I'm going to pull my cavalry over here. And annoyingly, I'm going to have to commit with these guys, but they're not sword troops. They're all... God, you got a lot of cav. Nordic Horse Lords, Tier 2. That is not what I want to see. And what's actually going to make me do is this with my spears. And put my Huskars in my front rank. Gonna need that macro now, bruh. Right, pull the cavalry around here. I think they've got these guys way too far away, and I've got to obviously run them. We'll get the bows to form up here. Kind of interested in just trying to take out some cav right now. Horse Lords! Flank round with the other ones. Frenzy. Come on, cav, round this way. Oh dear, I should have charged. Oh dear, they charged me with cavalry super hard here, I didn't even see. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. Oh dear, they've got to defend here. I'm getting overrun! Flank round, flank round. Charging their behinds, and we're going to have to get out of there. Yeah, I pulled these guys way too far away. Lesson learned. Break these guys in the centre. Yes, I know. Spears, bring yourselves around here. Oh, nice. We broke a unit or two, boss. Cavalry, get away, get away, get away, get away. If I get these wolf coats to mob their general, that might go well. Charge them here, although they're coming up against my general with 2 cavalry units. I'm going to have to throw in my spears here and just get my archers to... Actually, I should have put all my archers on flaming shot. I need my spears in here to help out my general. Nice, right, push along the line, push along the line. Right, break the cavalry if you can. Did the cavalry get away over here? No, it did not. Get into them there. All of you wolf coats go in here. Just try and hit them with flaming arrows. It'll go fine. What could go wrong? Hit these guys here. You guys behind here. We're going to take out their general. That's the plan. Right, take these guys out here. You guys over here. Oh dear, my general's about to get smacked. Which will cause problems. No, sorry, wrong unit. Over here. Spears, get your asses in here. You guys charge and frenzy. Damn it, my general's fallen. Yes, 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 yes. We know it's a dark day. It's always a dark day when my sodding general dies. And they're all breaking. Well, I don't blame you. It is a shameful display. Lionheart, why do you play this game? You suck. We have taken down a fair number of his forces, but then we had a lot more than he did to start with, so we've not done too well. His cavalry was far superior, though. Quality, not quantity, is the order of the day. Do have a fair few spears, which are mobbing some cav here. My elite, sadly not epic, units. Come on, take out their general. Take out their general. A general for a general. Come on. Come on. Spears, turn around. Don't think that's a good idea. Come on, turn, turn, turn. Brace the charge. Brace the charge. Because sometimes a good cavalry charge can actually break your men. It's Let's get in nice and close here. 21 FPS, 22. Pretty much reminds me of the performance I was seeing. I think they're broken. Yeah, game over. Reminds me of the performance I was seeing for Rome 2 at release. So again, the game has only just been out a month. Damn, that Nordic Horse Lords, they're awesome. I need to get me some of them. My troops, my archers were pointless. There's no point bringing them. Lesson learnt. But yes, so that's the performance for Total War Attila in a battle, and obviously you've seen it compared in the benchmark, so it's not too bad. It runs quite well. The 960 actually runs between a GTX 770's performance and a GTX 780. But I should mention that this card, you can actually get it if you shop around for around about £160, £170. And bearing in mind that it has the same performance of a GTX 770, GTX 780, when I actually bought my 770, now this was a year or so ago, that cost me £240. So Nvidia are hitting in with a lower price point for a card that performs, you know, better than a 770. And obviously the 770s aren't at that price point anymore, but still, that should give you an indication of, you know, they're offering a pretty reasonable performance versus price here. And I get people asking me all the time, what card would I recommend for Total War Attila? And I would say actually, if you're on a budget, you've got to go for a sub £200 card. The 960 from Nvidia is looking like a pretty awesome solution if you like Team Green. So that's where I'm going to wrap things up on Attila. We've seen all the settings there. I'm going to jump on over to Rome 2 now. And we are now in Total War Rome 2. God, it's been a while since I've been inside you. Game, that sounds weird. Anyway, here are the settings that I previously recorded all my Rome 2 series on. And in fact, when I finally get round to getting back into my Cimmerian Let's Play, I will be using these settings to record with. Obviously, again, with the 960 here, so we're going to run the benchmark, and then we're going to jump on over to Shogun 2 and see its benchmark. Again, kind of similar to Attila, I have my shadows on medium, or for Attila it's performance, just because maximum shadow seems to have a substantial impact on FPS. So, let's see how Rome 2 handles the 960.
Oh! Quintilis Varus, give me back my legions!
Do you reckon one day someone will actually give him back his legions? Bit sad if not. So, as you can see, we're hanging around the 40 FPS mark. We're down to 30s, back up to the 40s. Again, obviously, this is showing kind of the difference between Rome 2 and Attila. Obviously, Attila does have slightly higher textures at the high-end settings, but for the most part, there shouldn't be a huge amount of difference between Rome 2's extreme settings and Attila's maximum quality, I don't think. Obviously, a few more textures and things like that. But hopefully this gives you an idea of what some driver support and optimizations can give. Now obviously that driver support isn't specifically for the 960. I don't think Nvidia have released a Rome 2 specific driver to update to the latest couple of cards, but there are some drivers that laid some kind of foundation work for their previous generation of cards, which I don't believe Attila's received kind of any support, as it were, for drivers yet. But that's not just an Nvidia thing, that's obviously AMD as well. So it will be interesting to see not only kind of the support that Creative Assembly give it with kind of patching and optimization that way, but also optimizations and things like that, but also drivers from Nvidia themselves. So bearing in mind we've got 32 average FPS in Attila. Let's see what we get here in Rome 2 as our average. Obviously it dips there at the end. Get 43, so pretty much 10 more FPS, just over. And again, calculate an extra 2 or 3 FPS off for the fact that we're using Shadowplay with this. But not too bad at all. I think that's pretty reasonable. I should mention again, obviously the benchmarks, as I said, I don't feel are 100% kind of realistic representation of the FPS you will get in game. as we saw from that battle, I got slightly higher, kind of zoomed out, panning over my troops, where you'll spend a fair bit of time, obviously controlling them, but when you zoom in, then you will get those lower end FPS markers. But seemingly our lowest FPS recording point here was 31. That's not too bad and perfectly playable with the 960. So we're going to jump on over to Shogun 2 before we wrap things off, wrap things up rather, by looking at the Nvidia GeForce Experience, some of the options you have in there, and then I'll talk a little bit more about that giveaway again before we end the video. So here we are in Shogun 2. Now you can't actually activate the benchmark annoyingly through the Shogun 2 game once you've loaded it up. I actually have to Alt-Tab out, go to my Steam library, right-click on Shogun 2 in there, and then hit benchmark game settings. So obviously I'll be benchmarking with these following settings. But I wanted to obviously load up and show you the settings that I'll be using in that benchmark. Again, got the 960 there. The amount of video memory that it's detecting, it does kind of fluctuate. We're using DirectX 11. That is something I will say that you can do to gain a fair boost in Shogun 2 if you need it. You can obviously lower the DirectX mode down to 9, and then you can change the shader model down a lot. Obviously that will have an effect on quality, but potentially does help. Technically as well, you can put shader model down to 4.1. That is DirectX 10 support in there. So we're showing to you the kind of a few more ways to improve your performance if you need be. But I'm actually going to leave things all as they are. I'm actually leaving shadows on ultra for once. Normally I would have them at medium or low, but yeah, Shogun 2 handles things a little bit better because it's not as graphically demanding as some of the other Total War titles. Anyway, those are the settings. We're going to jump on into that benchmark now. Okay, so we're now in the Shogun 2 benchmark. Sorry, I just missed the start of it because I couldn't get Shadowplay to start recording, but that's because Shogun 2, the benchmark loads up weirdly. It doesn't kind of properly form up a window, but it's not Shadowplay's fault itself, so I just had to wait for it to load up. Anyway, it's just telling us about the Battle of Sekigahara, I believe. Probably butchered the pronunciation of that, my apologies, but at least you guys can see the FPS as we're panning all around the map using the settings that I showed at the, well, just before we started the benchmark a few seconds ago.
However, there are rumors of a plot by Hideaki to betray Lord Mitsunari.
So I wanted to show this because for many this is still a very popular Total War. Personally, I never got into Shogun as much as I wanted to. I mean, I played plenty of hours on it, but I just never enjoyed it as much as some of the other Total Wars, just because the setting wasn't necessarily as interesting for me. I've never necessarily been interested in kind of feudal Japan. Okay, so this is actually a screenshot I just took of the benchmark, because the benchmark just shuts itself down in Shogun 2. When it's done, it doesn't pause to throw you a graph or anything like that. It just goes, nope, done. So there is the benchmark result for Shogun 2, the average FPS being 76, but you guys saw it. Okay, there was no clashing between troops. From my own experience, it will drop down a fair bit, but it will never drop below 30. I haven't seen it. It does sometimes chug it a little bit, but that's more the game than the card or anything like that. So we're now just going to wrap things up from this video by just taking a look. There's obviously the specification of my PC. I had that up at the start of the video, but I just wanted to show a cool feature that you can use with the 960. I believe all the other 900 series cards. I'm just going to come over to Attila to show this. If you click on the little spanner here on the optimized settings, obviously that's set to kind of maximum quality. I'd probably want to go for kind of a medium to quality sort of setting, which is what I already have, so it's max quality there. That is kind of pretty much the sort of settings I have, so I can throw up a few more bits. We could wait until if it will do the exact ones I have, just with one or two things turned down a smidge. But again, you can customize that as much as you want, but this will give you a nice slider between quality and performance. But that's not the thing I want to show you. The thing I want to show you was the resolution. And obviously my screen is maxed out at 1920 by 1080. That's the resolution my monitor has. However, with the latest series of Nvidia cards, you can actually do something called a DSR, or Dynamic Super Resolutions. So what that means is if I select it, this top one here, the 4K resolution, it'll actually render the game at a 4K resolution, but then resize it or squash it back down to 1920 by 1080. Squash it back down there is the best technical explanation I could have chosen for that. But yeah, essentially it renders it at a higher resolution, but then squashes it back into the 1920 by 1080 resolution that your monitor can actually handle. What that means is that you actually get a crisper picture, and what that can sometimes mean is that you can actually turn off things like anti-aliasing, because the image quality will be crisper and sharper. If you'd like to see a separate video where I show that off, then let me know in the comments, as well as any other games you'd like me to benchmark. So I think that pretty much wraps up everything I wanted to show in this video for the 960. If you want to see any other benchmarking done with Total War games, different settings, using that DSR option, then let me know in the comments. Again, I'm doing a giveaway for this GTX 960 that Nvidia sent me. So in about 2 weeks' time, I'll be posting on my Facebook page, a link that can be found in the description, posting a link to my Facebook page, or posting a link on my Facebook page, and that will tell you how to enter the giveaway. So there'll be a post made there, link to it's in the description to my Facebook page. So if you want to go and hit that like on the Facebook page, it will keep you notified every time I post on there, so you won't miss out on the giveaway. If you want to go check out my Nvidia Shield tablet grid power video, that'd be awesome, super appreciated. Again, thanks to Nvidia for sending me this awesome stuff to try out and see how well it runs with Total War. Again, this was not a sponsored video. Nvidia just very kindly sent some things over for me to have a play with, basically. So again, thanks all of you for watching. Don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe, take pride in joining the Legion. Until next time, ciao for now.